Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Harry Maguire, as they have been updating you on a regular basis. So we do know that Manchester City are in pole position now, to currently sign Harry Maguire. I think according to Talk Sport, Manchester City are set to complete the signing of Harry Maguire sometime this week for a world record fee of £80 million. Obviously, this will make him the most expensive, defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who, of course, Liverpool paid £75 million for from Southampton, back in January 2018. And also, Manchester City are also prepared to pay Harry Maguire around £280,000 a week. Obviously, we do know Harry Maguire's first choice preference is Manchester City, because obviously, Manchester City are the dominant force in England at the moment. Obviously, they won a domestic treble last season, and of course they are in Champions League football. And probably from Harry Maguire's perspective, he probably does believe he will flourish under Pep Guardiola's guidance. And I think also Harry Maguire is informed his friends that he will be signing for Manchester City. And obviously, Manchester City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target, to replace Vincent Kompany. And obviously, Vincent Kompany left Manchester City after serving 11 years with them. Obviously, now he's player manager at Anderlecht. So we do basically know it has been Manchester United and Manchester City, that have been battling out for his services and all that. Obviously, he has been one of our priority targets as Harry Maguire. Obviously, he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford, since last summer. And obviously, the rumours have continued to persist since then, because actually, the process started under Jose Mourinho, because obviously, Harry Maguire was one of the players that Jose Mourinho currently wanted. But obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer, because obviously, the board weren't backing, the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. And I think Leicester were demanding that they wanted around £70 million for Harry Maguire last summer. And of course, Manchester United were reluctant to pay that. But a lot of reports were coming out last week, should I say. It said, or was it the other week? It might have been a couple of weeks ago now, saying that we was very confident, that we could, beat City to the sign of Harry Maguire. It also said, we was very confident that we could outbid Manchester City to his services, reflecting on Manchester City's, reluctance, to pay up to £80 million to him. So at one point, City were not willing to pay up to £80 million for Harry Maguire, because initially, City said they rate Harry Maguire at around £50 million and all that. So it did say, we was very confident, because reportedly, we was willing to pay up to £80 million for him. Ed Woodward, was keen on recommending, Harry Maguire in, because obviously, we have got issues defensively, and obviously, we do need to get a central defender and someone that can partner him alongside Victor Lindelof. But like I said, you can see the deficiencies defensively. That was proven last season, because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season in 38 Premier League games. That's obviously, our highest total in 40 years. So that just proves the deficiencies we've got defensively. And like I said, we've got to bring the right players to Manchester United this summer, the right players that can elevate Manchester United forward, because we need to see vast improvements, going on into this season, because last season was very disappointing. We finished sixth, we didn't win any silverware last season. But like I said, Harry Maguire's been one of our priority targets. Said we was willing to pay up to £80 million for him. We was also willing to offer him a contract, worth up to around £350,000 a week. And looking at ultimately, Leicester don't even want to sell Harry Maguire. This is why they've priced him out of the transfer market. This is why they are demanding an extortionate amount for him and all that. But I think now anyway, City are set to get him for around £80 million, and I think it's going to be City's first major signing this summer. Harry Maguire has been at Leicester, a couple of seasons. Obviously, I think he's played about 76 games for them in all competitions. I think his 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Obviously, he signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he is under contract with Leicester, until 2023. But looking at it from a financial point of view and a Leicester perspective, obviously, Leicester are going to make a huge profit on the player, because Leicester, did get him for £17 million from Hull City, a couple of years ago. Also, he did serve a couple of years with Hull. He also had a loan spell with Wigan, and obviously, when he was younger, he began his career with Sheffield United, graduated from their youth system, and obviously, I think he went on to play about 166 professional games for Sheffield United. But like I said, he's only 26 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Plus, he's British, and obviously, there's been quite a few British players on our agenda, because obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. But I think we've got to accept the fact now that he's probably going to be going to Manchester City is Harry Maguire. But like I said, I do believe he would have complemented Victor Lindelof in our backline. I do believe they'd have blended in very, very well together, because Harry Maguire's defensive abilities are very, very good. It shows that ability to ability to play out from the back. Also tall, his distribution, is very, very good. But like I said, I think he wants to go to Manchester City now. Because like I said, it's going to be hard for us, to attract players to the highest level, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season, and Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get your number one targets and all that. So yeah, like I said, we are set to miss out on Harry Maguire, so I think he's going to be going to Manchester City. And obviously now City could obviously offload Otamendi, so obviously Harry Maguire, can be guaranteed first team football week in, week out at Man City. And obviously, him going to City is going to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. So, yeah, we are definitely, set to miss out on him now. Like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad, as he has, currently confirmed. Obviously, it's looking like, we are going to get Wan-Bissaka on the board. Obviously, he's going to be our second signing this summer. And when we do get the, Wan-Bissaka on the board, that's going to take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend to around £70 million so far this summer. A lot of reports were reflecting out last week, saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend. It did provide a reason. I think the reason is that obviously because we're not in Champions League football for next season, we've only been given £100 million to spend. I thought it was initially £200 million, that we had been given to spend, but obviously £100 million is obviously not enough, nowhere near enough, should I say, for us to address the deficiencies in the squad. So basically, when we get our Wan-Bissaka over the line, we're only going to have around £20 million to spend, and obviously that's not going to be enough to get a central defender in, a midfield, a couple of new additions in midfield, a right winger or a striker. We're not going to be able to do that with £27 million. So it did basically say, we may, further spending, will be dependent on, money raised by players' sales when we have completed the signing of Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, we've already got a deal over the line for Daniel James. We've got him £15 million with add-ons included, which should potentially, rise it to around £18 million. But there has been good news coming out about Wan-Bissaka. It's looking like he's going to be coming in. He's set to have his Manchester United medical, I think, sometime this week, which is very, very good news, because obviously there has been a breakthrough in negotiations, because obviously Manchester United have held more extensive talks with Crystal Palace over coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. I think Wan-Bissaka has agreed personal terms on around an £80,000 a week contract with Manchester United. I think on his current salary at the moment at Crystal Palace is only on around £25,000 a week. But yeah, it's saying now a fee is close. A fee is close to being agreed, between Manchester United and Crystal Palace. Reportedly, we're set to pay an initial fee of around £42.5 million, but reportedly, this will rise up to around £55 million, something like that. So obviously, there will be series of add-ons included, because obviously, Crystal Palace value him at around 55 or 60 million pounds and all that. Obviously, the reports broke out last week. This was stemming from Duncan Castles, and he basically said that Manchester United have agreed a world record fee of around £55 million with Crystal Palace for Wan-Bissaka and all that. Obviously, this would make him the most expensive fullback in Premier League history. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to him coming in. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka has informed Crystal Palace, that he does want to join Manchester United this summer. Obviously, we do know he's one of our main priority targets, and he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. Obviously, he'll fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, perfectly, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend young players to Manchester United this summer. He's only 21 years of age. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. So far, he has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. Obviously, he's been a Crystal Palace player since the age of 11, graduated from their youth system and all that. And then literally when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner, but obviously as he was developing, he got reverted as a fullback. Obviously, reflecting on his tenacity and all that. And I think, his defensive capabilities are very, very good. Like I said, he only made his senior debut for Crystal Palace in February of last year. So obviously, last season established himself as a first-team regular, and I think he's made about 42 senior appearances, for Crystal Palace. But we previously had 2 bids turned down for Wan-Bissaka. The last bid was £50 million we had turned down. Obviously, we'd offered £35 million up front, with £15 million in add-ons. Crystal Palace had turned this down because they didn't like the structure of the offer. And obviously, the first bid we had turned down was obviously £40 million. But like I said, he's predominantly a right back. I think he'll be a great replacement for Antonio Valencia. I think he'll be a great upgrade to Ashley Young, and I think he'll be a great cover-up for Diego Dalot and all that. So yeah, looking very imminent that Wan-Bissaka is going to be our second signed. So he's set to undergo his Manchester United medical, sometime this week. So I do believe he's got all, the abilities, to elevate Manchester United forward. Obviously, him coming to Manchester United is going to definitely rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. But I think we want to get this deal finalised for Wan-Bissaka. Then we're going to step up our interest in Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. With Bruno Fernandes, like I currently said, with Bruno Fernandes, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has demanded Bruno Fernandes' arrival by the 1st of July. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually told Ed Woodward, to step up, speed up, a deal, to sign Bruno Fernandes and all that. And it's very imperative, that we do get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously, he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. Obviously, he is one of our main priority targets, and I think he would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because obviously he's primarily attacking midfielder. He's only 24 years of age. Obviously, I think reports did say basically, we're not preparing to pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding, and I think Sporting Lisbon, want around £62 million. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed he wants the deal to be fully secured by the beginning of next month. Initially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said last month, he wants our transfer business, to be completed by the 1st of July, before the players, do return for pre-season and all that. But like I said, I like Bruno Fernandes a lot, and obviously a lot of reports reflected out last week, saying that, we'd met up with Bruno Fernandes' agent, we'd met up with his current agent, discussing Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Manchester United this summer and all that. And obviously now he did say we are preparing to put an opening bidding for him of around £49 million. Obviously a lot of reports came out last week saying, that Tottenham were in for him. Obviously, Tottenham had also been in negotiation with Bruno Fernandes' agent and all that. Obviously, I think his agent had been in London on Wednesday, having negotiations with Tottenham. And obviously, reflecting on Tottenham's, reflecting now that Tottenham have stepped up their interest, it did say we may have to make a final decision on Bruno Fernandes. But I do believe the next two signs are going to be Wan-Bissaka and Bruno Fernandes. But with Bruno Fernandes, I do believe he's got all the attributes to definitely succeed in the Premier League. He's had a good couple of seasons in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon. I do believe he can come and replicate this at Manchester United in the Premier League. Let's be honest, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes did say he was attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United, because obviously, we have got a great history and all that. Obviously, reports were coming out this week as well. Last week, should I say, saying, that Liverpool, obviously, were in for him. They'd reportedly put a bid in for him of around €45 million. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling. So, obviously, Liverpool have been in there for him. But we do know it's been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Obviously, City had pulled out of the race for him. They've withdrawn their interest. But obviously, as soon as City had opted out of the race, that's when Tottenham and Liverpool had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. I think there was also talks that Atletico Madrid, were also, in for him the other week. But Bruno Fernandes did spend the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria and Londonese and all that. But very, very good midfield. I think he would be the right solution for Manchester United. I think he'd rejuvenate the team. He'd win us them goals that we do need in that midfield. And he's got goals in him. He scored 31 goals in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon last season. Like I said, primarily in attacking midfield. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023, and I think his initial release clause is around £86 million. Reports came out a few weeks ago saying that we was willing to pay up to £70 million for his services and all that. It didn't literally say we'd scheduled a meeting, but I don't think now we are willing to pay up to £62 million, because obviously our opening offer is reportedly around £49 million. But yeah, like I said, will be a fantastic adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, anyway, it's looking likely, Paul Pogba is going to be leaving Manchester United, as you all know. Obviously, he confirmed this the other week. He had told reporters in Tokyo that, that he's going to be he said he was seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted this, and he publicly admitted, he wants to leave Manchester United, for the first time. And he even did say, he was willing to go on strike, to force through a move from Manchester United, to Real Madrid, because obviously we do know Real Madrid has been his likely destination. Obviously, I think Real Madrid has been his first choice preference. Initially, it was in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to build a squad around Paul Pogba and all that. But now I think there's been a change of scene, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually now wants to offload Paul Pogba. Obviously, the main factor reason why he wants to offload Paul Pogba, because he wants to generate funds, to obviously rebuild the squad and all that. And like I said, I think we indicated that he's not for sale, but I think we would accept a bid in the region of around 150 or 160 million pounds. But of course, this is a figure that Real Madrid are reluctant to meet. But it has been Real Madrid and Juventus that have been battling out for his services, at least in the last couple of weeks. Juventus have reignited their interest in Paul Pogba, and they're interested, of course, in re-signing him, because obviously the Juventus director, he basically come out and explained how much, Juventus, love Paul Pogba, because obviously he had 4 good years in Turin, did Paul Pogba, don't forget, he exceeded expectation levels, he did really, really well, but he hasn't really replicated this form, since he did make the return to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him, obviously our most expensive signing, of course. And like I said, I think, I said it's not always about spending big on players. Like I said, we've got a history of spending big on players, but I think this summer, we actually are moving away from the policy, of signing them established players, and quite a few people have said, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But like I said, Juventus have held negotiation with Paul Pogba's agent, Raiola. Also confirmed the other week that the Juventus director travelled to London, to hold negotiation with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba and all that. But like I said, more than likely Juventus probably would have to offload 1 or at least 2 of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Juventus, would be able to afford him outright, because he's quite a few players on Juventus' agenda. Obviously, it's looking like De Ligt's going to be going to Juventus. Obviously, like I said, Tanguy Ndombele is on their agenda. I think also Adrian Rabiot's on Juventus' agenda, and obviously they're not going to be able to afford all that. I know probably Juventus have got a budget and all that, but obviously I think they'd probably have to offload a couple of their players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But like I said, his first choice preference obviously has been Real Madrid. Obviously Real Madrid so far have got 5 signings on the board this summer. Obviously Zinedine Zidane prioritised his Real Madrid board to make a move for Paul Pogba and all that, because it's initially in Zinedine Zidane's plans to link Paul Pogba with Casemiro in his Real Madrid midfield, but they're not willing to pay up to £150 million, so Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment. Obviously Christian Eriksen I believe is on their agenda, and obviously Christian Eriksen probably would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba, because obviously we put a huge transfer fee on Paul Pogba, but Paul Pogba said a while back about his dreams of playing for Real Madrid. He classified them as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he did say at some point in his career he does want to play at Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane and all that. But like I said, maybe the couple of main factors why Paul Pogba wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, challenging, winning silverware, and of course he's not experiencing this at Manchester United and all that. But Paul Pogba of course has still got 3 years, 2 years with an option of a further year left on his current deal with Manchester United. He is on about £290,000 a week. Obviously reports came out the other week saying that we was willing to offer Paul Pogba a long-term contract worth £500,000 a week. Obviously this would make him the highest paid player at the club alongside Alexis Sanchez, but I just don't really see as the point in us, offering Paul Pogba, big money, if he's playing amongst players, I just don't see as the point in. The point is offering, Paul Pogba, quite a lot of money if he's not playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United and all that. And obviously, Paul Pogba may be frustrated, with our lack of competitiveness. But yeah, I don't really see the point in this happening. Obviously, it came out the other week as well, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. It also mentioned something the other week about a loyalty bonus. He said we were set to hand Paul Pogba a loyalty bonus, worth almost £4 million, and he said he was set to be handed this payment at the beginning of next month. But like I said, Paul Pogba's been relentlessly linked to a move away from Manchester United. He is obviously seeking for a new challenge. Obviously, wants to rejuvenate his career. He is only 26 years of age. He's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him and all that. And yeah, but Paul Pogba was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. There was also talks about him, going to Barcelona, back in January and all that. But obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the club, because obviously they had a bad relationship. Paul Pogba with Manchester United has won, the Europa League with us. Obviously he's won the League Cup with us. Obviously that came in his second season with the club. Obviously that came in Jose Mourinho's first season and all that. But like I said, Paul Pogba hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought him, he currently would have been. But yeah, now reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to offload him. But like I said, I think we can generate around, £200 million, for the departures of Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku, like I currently said. So it will help us with our transition, of course, and it will also, help us with our rebuilding process. As I updated you earlier on, there's been big news that's come out in regards to Jadon Sancho. I have been reading up. Reportedly now, it did say we could reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho on one condition, and that's of course if we do sell Paul Pogba, like I said, that's expected to happen. So initially we are orchestrating on generating the funds from Paul Pogba's departure, and then obviously putting them funds on Jadon Sancho. Obviously we did actually come to accept the fact that we was set to miss out on Jadon Sancho this summer. Obviously the main factor reason why this is because obviously we haven't qualified for the Champions League next season, and I think it did say our hopes I think we thought our hopes had ended of getting Jadon Sancho on the board. I think Borussia Dortmund have confirmed that Jadon Sancho is still in their plans. Obviously he's rated at around £100 million, and obviously we confirmed we actually said at one point we was willing to pay that £100 million valuation and all that, but potentially it said we could reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho. I think obviously he was our top priority for a very, very long time. Obviously we identified him as our number one target back in January, and I said we was willing to pay £100 million for his services and all that. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, liked the prospect, of linking Jadon Sancho with the likes of Martial and Rashford and all that, because he's only 19 years of age. Obviously, he's English. Obviously, Jadon Sancho has served a couple of years with Borussia Dortmund, and he has done really, really well. Obviously, he's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Is Jadon Sancho is the obvious candidate for the win. He has got immense talent, still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Like I said, if he was to make the return back to England, I think it would help him with his developing process better. I think it'd create him a better platform for him and all that. But obviously, I think he will remain loyal to Borussia Dortmund at least for another season. Obviously, I don't think he'll obviously be intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Dortmund, because obviously at some point in his career he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level, and obviously he's got all the attributes to currently do that. But yeah, he was the club's number one priority target, for a very, very long time. Like I said, he's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. He's been there a couple of seasons. Obviously, he's had experience of playing in Manchester, because he is a former Manchester City player. Never got into their first team like he did. Have a couple of years in their youth academy and all that. But obviously, based on limited appearances. And obviously, he wanted to, he was in search of obviously getting first team football regularly. And this is the main factor reason why I left City. And of course, went to Borussia Dortmund. I think he initially, began his career with Watford, when he was younger, Jadon Sancho. But, Borussia Dortmund paid around £8 million for his services, from Manchester City, back in 2017. So if they was to sell him for £100 million, obviously, they would make a huge profit on him. But like I said, if we do sell Paul Pogba, then we're set to reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho. But I don't see him coming to Manchester United anywhere. Maybe next year or two he may come in. That's if we can, get back to being a competitive elite level football club. But I think a player of Jadon Sancho's calibre anyway, wants to be in Champions League football. So I don't, see that, currently happening. Obviously, like I said, I probably do expect around 3 or 4 players, to leave Manchester United this summer. Like I said, I think it's looking very imminent that Darmian's going to be going. I think it's also looking very likely that Rojo is going to be going. And I think we can raise around 25 or 30 million pounds, for their departures. Both players have endured difficult times at Manchester United. Obviously, with Sanchez, I think we're really, really struggling on offloading Alexis Sanchez at the moment. Obviously, this is reflecting on his substantial wages. Obviously, he could actually, he could be still playing his trade with Manchester United next season. Could Sanchez? Obviously, we're very desperate, to offload him, because he's been so inconsistent for Manchester United, and he is one of the problematic players. And obviously, looking at ultimately, he has no future at the club. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United since January of 2018, and he hasn't exceeded expectation levels as we all thought he would have done, because actually he did well in his 4-year period of Arsenal. Obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola, when he was younger, so he flourished under Pep Guardiola's guidance with Barcelona, but obviously he hasn't replicated this at Manchester United. But I think his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. He's on 400 grand a week, is it? Potentially rising up to around 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. So I think we are struggling, to offload Alexis Sanchez. So it remains uncertain, if he's going to be leaving or not. I'm not too sure, but I think we're doing everything we can, to try and offload Alexis Sanchez. Like I said, we know Valencia is leaving the club. Obviously, we know Ander Herrera, of course, is leaving the club. Obviously, we're going to definitely need a replacement for him. With Romelu Lukaku, as I've been updating you on a regular basis now, I've been reading their reports today of in regard, to Lukaku and Mario and Icardi and all that, and it reportedly said, it reportedly said, we could actually, consider, signing Mario Icardi as part of a deal, which would see, Lukaku, go to Inter Milan, because obviously, Inter Milan have offered Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku, because obviously Antonio Conte has identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. We're talking about Mario Icardi. I'd actually, like him, to come to Manchester United. He's got that goal scoring pedigree and all that. Obviously, the majority of his goals have come at Inter Milan. Obviously, he has been at Inter Milan 6 years as Mario Icardi. I think he's Inter Milan's ninth highest top goal scorer of all time and all that. Obviously, he had been the captain of Inter Milan, but I think he lost the captaincy, back in February. And I think Inter Milan have increasingly, become frustrated with him. I think Inter Milan are looking, to offload Mario Icardi. He is 26 years of age, so he's basically, more or less the same age as Romelu Lukaku. Very, very good player though, Mario Icardi. Don't get me wrong, I've got some reservations about him, but like I said, he has been Inter Milan 6 years. I think he's scored about 111 goals in 188 games, so that is very, very impressive, of course. So I would like him, to come to Manchester United, because we do need someone that can lead the line, someone that can score his goals and all that, because obviously that was another problem last season, wasn't scoring enough goals, obviously, wasn't ruthless enough in front of a goal and all that. So I would like to see Icardi as part of the deal, with Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Inter Milan can't afford Romelu Lukaku outright. Obviously, they can't generate enough funds, to basically, meet the 75 million valuation that we do want for Lukaku. So basically, we're looking, to recoup the majority, looking to recoup the money, actually, should I say, that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because we got him for £75 million. Obviously, there were add-ons included in the deal, which did potentially rise it to around £90 million. And obviously, he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United, and he's on about 250 grand a week. And I did say, the fee, is problematic for Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan did say they initially value him at around 50 odd million pounds, but Antonio Conte, likes him a lot. Antonio Conte wanted him back in 2017, when he was Chelsea manager and all that. And I think, Lukaku is eager on, playing under Antonio Conte, because probably Lukaku believes he will flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But like I said, we want around £75 million for him. Obviously, reports came out the other week saying that Inter Milan, were willing to offer Ivan Perisic plus cash as part of the deal. But obviously, Manchester United had turned this down, because obviously Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. He was a long-term target under Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. But like I said, I think initially everything's been agreed with Lukaku and Inter Milan, except the fee. I think Lukaku has agreed a deal with Inter Milan worth around 180 grand a week, so the personal terms have been agreed. I think he's also agreed a 5-year contract with them, so he will be under contract with Inter Milan till 2024. Inter Milan will meet his wage demands and all that. They just not yet, come to an agreement on a fee. Lukaku's been at the club a couple of years. Like I said, he's one of the problematic players now anyway. He's surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, we do know Rashford is first choice ahead of him, and obviously, Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. He's Romelu Lukaku. In his 2 years with Manchester United, he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. Did really well in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season, of course. Obviously, I've got reservations about him, as you all know, but his pedigree is still very good in the Premier League. His ratio is very, very good in the Premier League and all that. But like I currently said, we definitely no need to sanction Romelu Lukaku, but Inter Milan, of course, cannot afford, to pay up to £75 million for his services. So I probably would take Mario Icardi as part of the deal. I think that would be very, very beneficial for us. Obviously, Icardi hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, but he has still got a lot of development in him, because he's 26 years of age, and he's really, really proven himself in his 6-year period, with Inter Milan. In his 6-year period with Inter Milan and all that. Obviously, give you the update, didn't I, the other day about David De Gea. Obviously, it's looking like he's going to be remaining at the football club, which is very, very good news. Obviously, at one point it was looking very likely that David De Gea was actually going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, because the club were not willing to meet his wage demands. But obviously now, as it has currently confirmed, we are back in talks now with David De Gea over a £350,000 a week deal. So basically now we are willing to meet his wage demands. Obviously, there's been £300,000 £50,000 a week allegedly being on the table since like the turn of the year. But obviously, this is £50,000 less than what currently, David De Gea is demanding and all that. But like I said, in his current deal at the moment, he's on about 200 grand a week, so he's set to get around the £150,000 pay rise. Obviously, we're set to give him a new 4-year contract with an option, to extend it by a further year. But we have been in negotiations trying to get him a new contract, at least for the last 18 or 19 months. But like I said, he's been heavily linked with a £60 million move to PSG. Obviously, at one point, he was looking very likely he was going to be going to PSG because PSG had set their interest up because obviously PSG want a replacement for Buffon. But obviously, recent reports came out last week saying now that PSG have dropped their interest in De Gea and they're focusing, they've turned their attentions more on Donnarumma from AC Milan and all that. Obviously, we do know Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea, but he's been a great servant to the club. He's been here 8 years. Obviously, he's made over 300 other appearances in all competitions. He's won everything here domestically, and of course he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era and all that. I know he made costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. But we are now reportedly willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demand. So looking like now that David De Gea is going to be remaining loyal to the club, and this is very, very good news. So a 4-year deal with an option to extend it by a further year in total. That's a 5-year deal that will take him to the age of around 33 or 34 years of age, because I think he's currently 28 at the moment, isn't it? David De Gea. But yeah, very, very delighted about this, and I think also, Juventus would also, in for him. I said at full value for the goalkeeper, David De Gea is definitely worth £100 million, but I said we wouldn't get that anywhere because he's obviously in the final year of his contract term, like I said. But we are going to give him this new deal. Is it going to be, I don't know when it's going to be. Are we going to give him it in August and all that? I do not know, but I know we are going to give David De Gea a new contract, which is very, very good news. Like I said, that's been another problem with Man United. We have let far too many players their contracts run down. Obviously, we've given Juan Mata a new 2-year deal with an option, to extend it by a third year, which is very, very good news. Juan Mata's current deal does expire on the 30th of June and all that, but we've given him a 2-year deal with an option to extend it by a third year, and it was looking very imminent, of course, that Juan Mata, was going to be leaving the club, but now we do know he's going to be staying there with Manchester United. I'm surprised we give him a new contract, especially a 2-year one with an option to extend it by a third year, reflecting on his age, because he is 31 years of age now, he's Juan Mata. But again, we'd been in talks for some time of trying to get Juan Mata a new deal. He was linked to a move away from Old Trafford. He was linked to Newcastle because they were in for him. Barcelona were in talks of getting him on a free transfer and all that. And like I said, if he had left the club, I think he probably would have gone back to Spain, because he began his career in Spain. Obviously, he's a Spanish himself. And obviously he's done really, really well in the Premier League, and I think he's been a fantastic servant. He's been with us 5 years. Obviously, we paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014. He's been here since the David Moyes era. Obviously, he's won the Europa League with us, the League Cup, and the FA Cup, during his time with Manchester United so far. But initially doesn't even get in the squad now, Juan Mata. He's basically used as a squad player because he's not obviously not a first choice anymore. But in total, he's been in the Premier League about 7.5, 8 years now. Obviously, this was including his 2.5, 3 years he had with Chelsea when he was younger. So we do know Juan Mata is obviously under contract here until the age of 33, the age of 34 and all that. So yeah, we do know now that he's currently now going to be staying. But like I did basically say, I'm very disappointed, that we're not expected, to appoint him a sporting director in, because like I said, that is a structural change, that we did need at the club. Obviously, we was trying to get a director of football, and at least for the last couple of months and all that, there was so many, names linked with that director's role. But obviously now we're not expected to get a sporting director in, so obviously we are going to be sticking with the same structure, and obviously Ed Woodward is going to be overseeing our transfer business this summer. So I thought at one point we was going to get a director of football in, but obviously now we know we're not expected, to currently get one in as now. But Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad and all that. I hope, Solskjaer can succeed in these conditions now. That obviously now we're especially not getting a director of football in. Like I said, I do hope it works out for him. But like I said, next 2 signings I should presume are going to be Wan-Bissaka from Palace and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. So very, very good news about that. But yeah, like I said about Icardi, I'd love to bring Mario Icardi to Manchester United. I think he'd lead the lines, he'd bring us them goals that we do need. I've got reservations about him, but obviously, if he could bring us them goals we need, whilst he's adapting other areas of his game, of course, that would be a good enough. But now we are considering signing Icardi as part of a deal of Lukaku, making the move to Inter Milan and all that. So we may be willing to accept, Inter Milan's offer of Icardi, so obviously, they can get their pursuit of Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, we may accept this offer. But from Icardi's perspective, I don't know, what he wants to do. You know, does he want to stay in some land? Does he want to go to Juventus? I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. But anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.